Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Jack, and I'm not here to tell you it gets better. Whoa. Sorry, I don't mean to be controversial, but I have some issues with the It Gets Better project, which is what we are talking about this week, in addition to bullying. I quite like a lot of things that have come up because of the It Gets Better project, which was started by Dan Savage, I think, last year. Hopefully you've seen all the other videos, so you know in more informed depth what I'm talking about. But I don't know. From the first few videos that I saw of the It Gets Better project, I wasn't sure how I felt. I was very conflicted. On one hand, I saw it as a reaction to a stream of queer and gay suicides by youth, which obviously hit close to home, and I thought was a really fantastic gesture and organized movement by some really brave, high-profile and low-profile people who came out and told their own stories or offered their own words of support. And I know for myself, I think watching Barack Obama's video was one of the more striking moments I've had when thinking about my own queer identity and where I fit in. I won't quite say exactly where I stand on Obama now, but I worked for his campaign in 2008, and I was very moved by that video of him offering his support not only to gay youth but to trans people as well, which is something that I think Dan Savage has been kind of down on, intentionally or no, I don't know, but I'll include some links. I think It Gets Better is definitely more focused on the gay community, which is one of the problems I have with it. And I understand every big organization is a bit hypocritical. But I think that's an issue, especially as It Gets Better is intended to put a name and a face to queer minorities. And because a lot of it is focused on the gay community, trans people often, as with everything else, get excluded from that. But also I think the real problem, I don't know, I was writing an essay for one of my historiography courses last year, and I was just sorting through a bunch of old papers, and I found it, and I was reading it, and I sort of was able to place a couple points in the essay that I thought applied to how I felt about It Gets Better. I was like, that's it, I think. And that is that, especially in American history, even today, after postmodernism and all that shit, there is a huge tendency to tell historical narratives, especially in America, as as success stories, and as narratives that get to a happy ending. And the same is true for, this comes up all over in American culture. It comes up in Disney films. I'm going to include an article by Ariel Dorfman, I think, who kind of dissects how Disney has influenced our culture. And it comes up in our textbooks. America becoming a superpower was, it started out as the struggle of the underdogs, and it turned into this glorious ending. And that's very simplified, and there are plenty of historians that I really respect and everything who contradict that, who are American. But I think that is huge, really relevant undertone in our culture. I say our, obviously an American even though I wouldn't really consider myself fully American. And I don't live full-time in the United States, so that's kind of silly of me, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so, yeah, American culture has that positive, happy ending undertone that I think comes up in the It Gets Better project. There's the, and you know, I think it's definitely valid to say that everybody has the potential to make their own happy ending. But I think a lot of the videos and work that I've seen for It Gets Better sort of imply a passive approach to it getting better. There's the assumption that because your life is a story, it will have a happy ending one way or another. And so you just need to sit back and get a little bit older, and you will move on from wherever bad place you are and to your happy ending with your happy partner and house and whatever. So I think that is what bothers me about It Gets Better, because it's not, I don't know, it doesn't so much promote look at your life and look at the specific steps you need to take so much as it will get better, it got better for me, so it will, you know, get better for all queer youth or whatever. And I know that nobody outright says that, and that's a very like simplistic take on what It Gets Better is about, but I think that is sort of the implication beneath a lot of the videos and behind the whole project that irritates me. And I'll include some links and stuff so you can check that out. Yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, bullying. Has it gotten better for me? Yeah. When I was younger, kids could be quite cruel, I think. I'm a very easygoing person, so even as a kid, I was really bothered by bullying. I mean, obviously it hurt me, but and it came up because I presented as androgynous or whatever since I was a wee little thing, fortunately. But I always had a really, really good group of friends, and so I think I was always more concerned with them than whatever was going on in school or the pecking order of middle school or whatever. And then my high school years, I think I mentioned before, I went to a really great small liberal arts school, which was very, very, very queer friendly and really supportive place for me to come out-ish and to sort of figure out my own gender identity and put words to that. I'm not as out as I'd like to be with my family and close friends. I mentioned that before. So I think the next step is for me to get beyond, you know, being in a good place for myself with this whole thing, and being in a good place with my family about it, and my close friends and stuff. So, and I have, you know, thought a great deal about what I need to do in order for it to get better. And I don't know if you're looking for advice. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm quite old enough to say definitively if it does get better. I think there are older and wiser people on this channel even who you can look to for that. But I think, you know, if you want my advice, don't take for granted that it will get better, and take steps to make sure that it does for you, and be objective about that as you can, I think. So, there you are. I'm going to include a bunch of links, I think. I'm going to go off of link hunting. So, farewell, and see you next week.